You know, one of the questions I get asked quite a bit as I cover movies in the landscape of streaming and digital and theatrical and home video is, are movies screwed? Are movies dead? Are they just never coming back? I don't know if we're ever going to get back to the way things were back in the early 2000s or, quite frankly, the mid to late 90s. Movies are an event still, but only ones that seem to be really going towards certain tentpole films. Thankfully, stuff like Barbie and Oppenheimer have come out and really been able to kind of do a couple things. But what we have to remember about that is those played off each other. The Barbenheimer meme worked. Barbie definitely was the victor on that. But in some ways, it could also be said that the reason why it did more is because it's a shorter movie. It's just a shorter movie, more showtimes. Oppenheimer has done 600 million worldwide. Barbie's done over 1 billion. I mean, that's great, you know, but now we're coming into the dog days of summer. TMNT is doing okay. I mean, the Meg 2 is doing all right. Haunted Mansion is all but gone. Again, that has everything to do with Disney and their release dates. But then we think about Netflix, and you have Heart of Stone that just came out this weekend, and to have little to no fanfare. I mean, sure, you have the writer strike and the actor strike, which is going to definitely hurt it in regards to promotional material. But at the same time, it's also like there's an apathy towards Netflix movies or streaming movies in general. There's this massive apathy where people simply just don't want to care. They just don't get excited for the streaming movies. They look at them as being lesser than, even though these movies will largely have higher budgets than some of those Hollywood tentpoles that we see go to cinemas every single year. So then the question becomes, how do we solve this? What do we do to make sure that we are maintaining a love of movies, that we are maintaining our love of movies? And I really do feel a lot of that has to do with just being willing to go in and watch something new sight unseen, or as much sight unseen as humanly possible. Ever since the pandemic, we have been integrated with this with this scooper culture, with everyone has to know everything that's going on the inside. All the casting rumors have now blown up into full articles that will appear like in the New York Times or something. I mean, it has become this massive cult, or I don't want to say cult. It is a cult in some ways, but it's really a cottage industry. And that cottage industry has largely taken away from people's ultimate love of these films. I mean, look at the fight that took place over The Flash. Look at the fight that took place over Elemental. People saying it's a flop, but now we're learning it's actually going to be profitable. Look at Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which right now is my movie of the summer, hands down. I love that movie. I adore that movie, and I can't wait to watch it again, but I know that it underperformed. I don't know if I'd call it a flop, but it definitely underperformed, as so many other movies seem to have done during this summer season. But I want to remind you guys of a couple different things when we talk about the flopping on that front. Is there's always ancillary means of making money, right? Like, I'll give you guys a prime example. Titanic, which is currently the number 5 or number 4 highest grossing movie of all time. Cameron's got 3 in the top 5, but Cameron's got 3 in the top 5, but that movie did a lot of money, over $2 billion. And that movie also has $1.2 billion in video and rental sales. So think about that. In 25 years since Titanic came out, that movie not only grossed over $2 billion theatrically and won a buttload of awards and everything else, it sold $1.2 billion in home video. Avatar has done $404 million domestic since its release, both with DVD, Blu-ray, and the 4K that just came out recently. These movies do well on home video. They will sell on home video. So we have to remember that when we talk about whether or not a movie is successful. Sadly, though, nowadays, a lot of movies are not very successful because sales on physical media are down. And in the case of streaming movies, they're simply just on those networks. You know what I mean? Like, I can't go buy a copy of Prey. I would love to own a copy of Prey. I would love to own The Mandalorian in 4K UHD box sets. I would buy all 3 seasons. I would buy Boba Fett. I would buy Andor. I would buy Ahsoka. I would buy Kenobi. I would buy all of those things because I want to own them. But they don't want to do it, so they just want to hurt us on that particular front. So unfortunately, what that ultimately means is we have to be the ambassadors of our own entertainment, and we have to be the joy that people can gravitate towards when it comes to this stuff. And that's why I really just want to spend more time talking about individual films rather than just going and talking about the day-to-day of the movie news, because we know that, again, it's so heavily skewed. We know that there's a monopoly in regards to Penske Media owning Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, the IndieWire, The Wrap, and a bunch of other outlets. We know all of these things. And yet they control so much of the narrative online. And all that does is feed into the other BS narratives online, which is one of the reasons why we just got to break the conditioning, to quote Alex Jones. I love movies. I love them. I wouldn't talk about it as much as I did if I didn't love them. And the thing is, I want you guys to love them too. And I know that's not going to be entirely possible with everybody because everyone has different tastes, which is great. But not everything is bad. Not everything is shit. Not everything is woke. Not everything is terrible. Most things are actually pretty decent. They're decent if you allow yourself to kind of let go of whatever predisposition you might have and go into something and hope to be entertained. If you change your mindset, you can change your mindset. You can change how you appreciate these movies. And all I can say is I hope you guys do that. I hope we all can do that more often. And that's just my PSA for Friday afternoon. I'm going to go deliver people's food to make money because being joyful talking about movies isn't something you can really do at this point and make it a full-time career. Gotta love YouTube, baby. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.